Do you think Jimmy Butler? Oh my God, I can't even say this guy's name right. Do you think Jimmy Butler is a guy who can lead his team through the playoffs, like for a deeper run?
To like for a chip or
Something
even like the Western Con.
final. Only one team can win the championship. So let's just say
No, I don't think I don't. I usually consider those players usually are like a top 10 player to me. If you can lead a team to a chip or a long run or anything, especially a team that's not like Miami's okay, but it's not really the greatest team in the world.
so.
Like I feel like he needs more in order
I
to.
think I think this team is fairly deep compared to other teams in the league. Actually,
Yeah, yeah,
uh, like there's a lot of guys on this team who have done things in the playoffs. Like not like led their team, but like Kelly Olynyk had a big game in a game seven for the Celtics. I remember that.
yeah,
Um, Jay Crowder has been played for a bunch of different playoff teams. Iguodala, of course.
yeah, yeah.
I mean, I imagine
Jimmy's
Iguodala's
had deep runs in the playoffs too.
yeah,
So
but
yeah,
I just don't. And I felt this way Jimmy Butler's entire career. He has very much uh, overachieved in his NBA career. I would say,
yeah.
in comparison to where he was drafted and where, like, and but like, here's a guy. These are we're talking about a guy who's putting up 20 points a game.
Is he a star to you?
No, that's what I'm about to say. I think
Okay.
he's. I think on a championship team, he's a third guy, maybe a second guy. I could see a world where he's a second guy, but
Yeah.
I think on like a dominant championship team, I think he's a nice third guy. Amazing two way.
You see, I don't think he can be a third guy though. The way
Yeah, like
his play style is too different. Like he play like I look at him and think of like a little worse version of a Paul George. Like that like
okay,
I feel like I could see their play style being very similar in that
yeah,
sense. He's probably a little better defensively. Um but Paul George is no slouch defensively anyways, but um like he likes to create his own shot. I don't think he's like usually the third guy is usually one that you can spot up shoot like
mm.
a Clay or a Chris Bosh or something like that. Like and he always has to get his points.
I'm
You
just
know,
looking
like
up the Heat per game stats because I want to see because I know Butler's leading the team in points, obviously, but
yeah,
barely hitting 20 points a game. There, happy I did the decimals. He's
yeah.
barely hitting 20 points a game, and what is
Gotta add the little sass.
and effective field
Oh
goal
man.
percentage 47%. Like he's not shooting the ball super efficiently.
Yeah.
Uh, I'm not
Yeah, giving
not
me
in love
20
with
points
Jimmy
on
Butler. I never
46%
have been,
shooting.
and
Not
I
really.
just don't. I just think being against Indiana, that'll be the NBA TV series. Like that'll be the series that gets no national TV time,
Yeah.
and no one will be watching.
No one's gonna give a fuck. Well, most of the East first rounders are no one's gonna give a fuck about. Besides, like, and yeah, we'll go through each one. But
And that's
I
why,
feel,
yeah, if we could get back to the brackets really quick. Glenn, can you throw me back to the brackets?
On it.
Boom, super easy. So it's way easier for you to do it than for me to do it.
my
So,
man said doesn't matter.
so this is my point. I'm gonna get back to why I put this. You think the Heat have any chance against Milwaukee in the second round?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
I think
I would
they
like
have.
to, I would
I
like to
think.
hear this case.
I think.
Seeing as you have him losing in 6 games
Yeah.
as in your bracket, so
But
I would like to hear this case.
yeah. But I think. Bam. I think he is gonna be a body they could throw at Giannis to
Sure.
make him work a little bit more, and that's the only reason I gave him 6 games. But I don't think it's gonna just be. I don't think I do not imagine the Bucks running through the Heat.
But
I see it
but
being at least 6 games.
but you don't imagine them losing. Is my point.
Yeah, exactly. But
And what about the Pacers?
all the Pacers will lose in 4.
So here's my mentality. I don't think I think I thought about that with Bam Adebayo, right? And how yes, he is an excellent shot blocker and could potentially weaken Giannis at the rim, where he does most of his damage. But I think that ultimately it's just too much. Like Giannis against the Bucks or Giannis against Miami, right? I can get those numbers.
And as you're doing that, just
Yeah,
so I
but
could, the only reason I look at that is you got to look at past history with Giannis, and I feel like anyone, usually teams who can stop him from getting to the rim, do well against them in series.
right.
Um, that's why Toronto did so good. They just
No,
built a wall.
I don't disagree, but and we're gonna get to this with Toronto actually. The thing with Toronto and Boston, who we're also going to talk about, who have had pretty good success against Giannis in the past few seasons, it all has to do with that ability to build the wall, and you have to have the personnel to do that.
Yeah.
And I really don't think outside of Bam Adebayo. So Milwaukee was in 3 games. Okay, they only won 1 game, and Giannis was shut down in one of those games where they lost by 16.
Um,
So I mean, so
I could see Jimmy staying with Giannis for like I could see like if they want to just throw Jimmy Butler or Giannis for the perimeter and
so
then
this was in the
kind of
bubble.
have yeah
This was in the bubble. This was in August 6th,
yeah
116 to 130. I feel like these bubble games, even though I would feel like it's safe to assume each team's not throwing out their best shit
yeah,
because of how close it is to playoff time.
especially not the Bucks.
They still put up 130 points.
Yeah.
And 2 guys had 30. Their 2 main guys had 30. And
But do we expect that from Chris Middleton every single game?
Yeah.
I wouldn't.
Chris Middleton in the bubble, because I'm really focusing in on that, and it's something that I wanted to talk about. I feel like if there's any games in the bubble, they're super. Like if any team's played a team that they're going to play in the playoffs previously in the bubble, I feel like that's going to make us a little bit of a difference. So Chris Middleton, where's the
You
August?
see, with me, the bubble matters to an extent because of the environment, but in my mind, it's always going to be different when because the bubble has the same issue as the regular season, where
Right.
the regular season is just you're playing a different team every other day, so you're not really planning for anyone.
But
When
when
you
we were
have to,
talking about the Bucks, sorry.
no, you're good, you're good.
What we were talking about when we were talking about the Bucks, we did learn that they don't. I missed the game. That they don't really deviate too much in terms of their minutes and in terms of like how they're putting the guys out on the floor and when between playoffs and regular season.
Yeah,
I
and
would
I think
hope
that's
that they
bad.
would. I would agree with you, but
Yeah,
that's why I definitely agree that it's bad, but it's also what it is.
yeah.
So
Eh,
I can't change it. But Chris Middleton, 19, 5-5, 19, 6-6, basically. Fuck it. It's 26-6. I'm just an asshole. 26.
I was gonna say, but I'm like, you know what?
Damn,
You gave me
But
sass
he got
before.
it.
I'll just.
But he got it once. He got it once.
Yeah, I
so
know.
there we go.
I know. Yeah, we at least once a pod is good.
Okay, so shooting decent, like I don't know. I feel like the Bucks, they're just so much deeper than Miami team, and definitely the Pacers. And
Yeah, but they definitely just the chemistry alone is like them being able to go deep into the playoffs last year and then running it back with the same team kind of makes it. Usually, teams that do that do pretty well, or like you usually see a team go deep one year and then they'll make it to the finals the next year because like they ran it all back and what. But the only and I have them going to the finals. I just look at it as when you are planning a 7-game series to stop um Giannis, I think think it's easier than stopping other stars because it's like you build a wall and then you're fine, and then you just make everybody else beat you. And in the playoffs, you have a 7-game series. Are you going to trust Chris Middleton to beat you, like to win the game for you all the time?
You really think every team in the Eastern Conference can do that to Giannis?
No, then that's why. But
That's my real point.
yeah,
I think
but
there's really 2 teams that can do that to Giannis. That's why when you're saying that it's easy to stop him, I would agree, but you have to have the personnel to do it, and a lot of teams
yeah,
don't.
but this
And
is why I'm giving them 6 because I think they have a good amount to like win a couple of games. I just don't see that. I just can't see them winning the whole series. If they won the series, I'd be shocked.
yeah, I
But
was looking at Iguodala right here because I just wanted to see if maybe he was ramping it up, considering he's an older player and he hasn't been
yeah,
that long. I was wondering if he was ramping up, and he's shooting 38% in the bubble, so that's out. I'm just
it's
looking at guys
him
like,
is more the defense. I think it's the defense and the leadership that they care about.
yeah, I
Because
understand, but
with Golden State,
uh
when he was there, he pretty much was there for the defense, and then he was there whenever Steph started taking really bad shots or Clay started taking really bad shots, and he kind of calmed down the pace of the game and worked through it that way. Like he has a lot of intangibles in the game that I feel like you're not gonna see on a stat sheet, and I feel like any team he's on, he's always gonna help because of that.
but he's getting a lot older. Is my point.
Yeah,
And
no,
I don't think he's going to be able. Like, if Iguodala has to guard Giannis in that series at any point, that's a bucket for Giannis. At this point,
yeah,
at this point in Iguodala's career, like he can't stay in front of him. He's not big enough. He's not long enough. He's not fast enough. He's not athletic
no.
enough.
Yeah,
And
but I could see them winning games because of him though. Like in terms of he makes key defensive stops. I could see him doing that, and
does
I
he
could also see him.
still do that? Like, are we sure that he still does that?
Yeah, I mean, regular season you can't really say. Like we'll definitely see in the playoffs, but
Yeah,
I
that's kind of
think
my point. I was like, I'm not.
uh,
I hate doing these. I have a love hate relationship with these playoff breakdowns
yeah,
because, and similar to what we were talking about LeBron, with LeBron earlier, uh, I just don't know who's going 100%, who's not,
yeah,
and
yeah.
it's
Well,
hard.
you sometimes you can tell with superstars. You can tell because it's
Sure,
like
with a guy like
exactly
Anthony
where
Iguodala,
LeBron can go. Like so, it's like
yeah, but
you see him play.
with a guy like Iguodala, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, so
But the whole thing is his things. It's not about just playing like what he does on the court. Like a lot of his
right,
stuff is like off the like a lot of those younger players that are in these series for the first time, he's gonna have them a little bit more ready than usual
sure,
because
but it's
he's
not like he's drawing up plays like
yeah,
in the
but
playoffs.
he's having them ready like he's gonna have people in the right positions. I feel like he is like you're gonna notice Golden State next year not be 100% the same, and it's not only because of KD. I think them losing Iguodala is a big thing because
Yeah,
he helped a lot with controlling that team whenever that's why for instance in 2018 against Houston, the reason literally they had Houston dead to right, and then Iguodala got injured. He was not in the game. He was not there anymore,
yeah,
and um Houston started going on their little run, and then that's when Chris Paul got injured, and
yeah.
then but Iguodala clearly showed that he had some type of influence on that team.
Obviously,
Yeah,
yes, but it was if it was more off the floor in that situation, then it would have mattered less that he wasn't involved in the Rocket series. I think he is a major. I think what you're saying about his off the court shit is relevant, but I definitely feel like he needs to be more of an on court impact in this series if they were going to beat the Bucks, and I just don't think
yeah,
they have a chance. I really don't.
yeah. Well. So if you had to give them percentages, like how much of how high of a percentage are you giving the Bucks?
The Bucks?
Yeah, to be just
Warren, here's a
walk through
long
more.
three.
Like because it seems like you're not giving them any type of a chance.
Yeah, I'm
Like
not. I would say 5. I would say 5 or 6 games.
okay,
But in that, I think probably closer to 5. It really just depends on how healthy the Bucks are at that point in time.
You see, I don't see it going. I can't see it going 5. I feel like they definitely have enough personnel to make it a longer series. I don't see it
I
going
think they
5.
got.
I
You
feel
have
like
to have
5
more
is
than
usually
one guy
gentleman's
to
sweep.
guard Giannis. You have
Huh?
to have more than one guy to guard Giannis.
I think they have multiple guys that they
They
could
have,
throw bodies at.
they have Bam Adebayo, and that's about it. Because Butler's going to guard Middleton. I think that would be the best move.
I could see Iguodala, like if you give Iguodala sets with Giannis, he
This is
can
what I
definitely
just
do.
got done saying with you, and you said no. I said I think at this point in his career, if you put Iguodala in front of Giannis, Giannis is getting a bucket.
For a whole game, sure, but for in terms of like sets, if you're because that's what they did with Braun the whole time. They didn't just have Iguodala guarding him all the possessions long.
Right,
They
but that was
switched.
5 years ago, where he won the MVP. Like
He's
he's old
he was
now.
playing yesterday. I mean last year. Like it's not
No,
like he was just not.
but he
He had,
was. It wasn't the same last year as it was when he won the MVP of the finals.
I think defense. If you're only focused on defense, it's I don't think you lose that much, especially if you're giving him sets.
Oh, I'm not sure about that because it takes so much more athleticism to stay in front of somebody.
But usually
Lateral.
you're looking at it from superstars. Like usually like Kobe in his 17th year, he wasn't a great defender.
When he
at
got
that
in his
point.
stance, he was a good defender.
Huh?
When he got down in his stance, he was a good defender.
Yeah, but I mean like he couldn't guard you the whole game and then drop buckets on you the whole game.
What you're saying is because you think Iguodala will only be focused on defense, that you think
yeah, especially if you're giving him sets. If you give Bam like most of the game, then you switch it up, throw Jimmy at him, throw Iggy.
I just don't see it because I just don't. I think Iguodala's at a different point in his career.
We agree because I don't see them winning either. but I just think that it's gonna be. I think it'll be 6 games, personally. But it doesn't matter because either way they're not fucking winning.
I need Giannis to make the finals this year, and we're gonna. If you want to throw, Lindsay, you want to throw to the brackets, back to the brackets. So we got the Bucks making the conference finals on this side. So now we'll go down here.
Well, Lindsay,
go ahead.
Lindsay also has the Heat beating the Pacers and then Heat losing to Bucks. What do you think about?
Yeah, what do you think?
I had the Heat beating the Pacers because I also saw, like, I was looking up the rosters and I was looking up their season and how they were in the bubble. I saw that Sabonis was injured and he's still going to be injured, I think, right?
Yeah.
So I didn't really see that the Pacers were going to beat the Heat, even with how good TJ Warren's been playing inside the bubble. Then in terms of the Bucks and the Heat, I just felt like the Bucks had more offensive firepower if they can do their offense properly, and I don't think the Heat have enough defense to really stop the Bucks for 7 games.
Yeah, I feel that, and I and I don't know if this is even a hot take, but I don't see TJ Warren being an issue at all in that first series. I feel like when you have to plan against someone, especially like he's good enough to drop all those points or whatever those couple of games, but I think if you're planning against them, like clearly they planned against them that last game that they faced him and he didn't do shit. So I feel like he was just like one of those practice heroes or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't think he's gonna do shit in the series.
So I'm actually being disrespectful to the Magic. Does anybody here think the Magic can win a game?
I gave no. Well, I gave 0 to 1.
Really nice. You were trying to be like, you were trying to toe the company line. It looked like.
Okay, so when I started looking up for my bracket, I started like pulling up their opponent points per game, their points per game, all this stuff, and I was looking at like the Bucks and the Magic, and I just stopped and I was like, this is not gonna happen. Bucks are gonna win.
Yeah, the only thing is I could see the Bucks like screwing up. If they're gonna lose, it'll be the first game. That's the only game that I could see the Bucks losing, or the third game. Usually, the first or third game is the iffy games that you don't know what's gonna happen.
I don't know. I think Aaron Gordon is a real stout defender. I think he could really. I think you could really take on Giannis.
You're about to get fucking thrown around the court.
He might, instead of holding Giannis to 50 and 25 like Wilkes, maybe he'll hold him to like 30 and 13.
Yeah.
Like his normal averages. But that Giannis could break Giannis. If I was Giannis, I would go for 65. Now's the time. Go for 65.
Beat Jordan's record, against these dirty ass Magic.
Go for MJ's record. Now's the time. I want to see some records broken this playoffs.
Facts. I like that. I like that.
Yeah,
Dame is probably going to go for 61 of those games against the Lakers. I could just see it.
Oh, no. If we're going to see a record get broken, it's going to be in the Rockets Thunder series, and it's going to be by James Harden hitting 70 because Westbrook's not playing. But we'll get to there.
That's a fact. I didn't think about that, but yeah.
Let's stick with the East. So we're getting down to the bottom part of this bracket. Now, I see I'm the only one here with the Celtics losing this series. Now, obviously, I got some explaining to do, and I will right now. So,
well, if you look at,
go ahead.
Oh no, forget it. I misread my bracket. Forget it.
Every time the Celtics play the Sixers, outside of this season, obviously, the biggest reason why the Celtics had success in those matchups was because of Al Horford and the damage that Al Horford did guarding the interior for the Celtics. Very underrated. No one really but people would call Al Horford Joel Embiid's kryptonite. That's how it got. That's how bad it got. Because he would just suck against him. I bet I could even pull some shit up. But without Al Horford, and where's Al Horford, guys? What team does he play for?
The Sixers.
Okay, so I think that Al Horford is definitely telling people what the game plan usually is, or what Brad Stevens' game plan is, and whispering to Brett Brown, who I'm going to take a time out right here to talk about Brett Brown. Brett Brown is one of my least favorite coaches maybe in the history of the game. He is a motivator, and he sounds nice when he talks, but he is the worst coach of the best talent in the league. And it is fucking embarrassing. So, do I think that Brett Brown would go like this to Al Horford and try to get some deets about Brad Stevens? Yes, because he's not smart enough to come up with them by himself. And the biggest reason why I think Philly, here we go, 3 minutes of Al Horford destroying Joel Embiid. This is perfect. This is what I need in my life. Just shutting him down. Completely, this is stuff that I went to Philly, Boston. What was that, Lindsay? 2 years ago? 1 year ago?
I believe that was 2 years ago.
2 years ago we went. Game 3, and we watched Al completely poop on Joel.
Oh my God.
Maybe you didn't know about this. Body bags.
I knew that.
This is also how the Celtics had success against Giannis, because Al Horford would be there waiting to wall up. This is what goes back to my point about personnel when it comes to facing the Bucks. But staying with the Sixers, I think the Sixers, because Joel Embiid has nothing to fear, I think the Sixers have a real chance to upset. Because the other thing that people aren't realizing, Ben Simmons is injured, but the Sixers are deep. The Sixers, it's not just Embiid and fucking nobody. Tobias Harris was an all-star.
But they have been playing like ass in the bubble too.
I understand. Trust me. But it's in there, is my point.
Yeah. And
historically, when either Simmons or Embiid is hurt, one of them, the team plays better. Usually.
So the only thing, I guess my reason for picking the Celtics.
This is the playoffs. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. I look at it as, it was two things that kind of made me give Celtics in 6, and it was the fact that they didn't have Simmons. That was one of them. And I don't think Celtics are significantly better than the Sixers.
Me neither.
But in a 7-game series, usually the better coaches win, and I think Brad Stevens is, as you said, is the better coach.
Oh, infinitely better. Yeah, Brett Brown. Listen, if I can be completely honest, in my heart of hearts, I want the Sixers to get swept. Because I want Brett Brown to be fired.
He's going to get fired no matter what. I think.
He's not. I thought that last year he didn't get fired.
Well, he lost in the second. He lost in the second round to the luckiest buzzer beater in the world. So it was like I can see why they were like.
No, but before
you
that,
almost,
they were the hottest team on planet Earth 2 years ago, and they lost to the Celtics. A series that they should not have lost.
yeah,
This team has been the most talented team in the East for a while now. Like this
yeah,
team has the personnel to deal with a guy like Giannis in Milwaukee, because they could throw, if they're in a perfectly healthy situation, they could throw Simmons and Embiid out, and like, you know what I mean? Like, and they
yeah.
have long guys. Josh Richardson's good at defending, and he could shoot. Like, I think he's still healthy, but
I just I don't know. I don't. A lot of times, I just look at. I don't care how talented a team is. Is more about like how they mesh together, and I feel like the Celtics mesh better than the Sixers, just like in general. So like it's hard for me to think. Like I think the Celtics in general are a better team, like all together, the way that they work together. And then I look at it as they have a better coach, and probably the best coach in the East that I could think of right now. So I just look at it and I just don't. I can see Philly winning though. Like I don't look at it and just say, "Oh, Boston is automatically winning the series." Like if Philly were to win,
is this legit?
Did not play Thursday. I'm not sure. I'm assuming he's gonna play. I can't imagine that he's not gonna play.
Me neither. But continue. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. But yeah, like I think I just find it very difficult to just say like automatically Boston is just 100% gonna win. But if you have a gun to my head, I'm saying Boston in 6. But I wouldn't, if Philly won this series, I wouldn't think that you're completely insane for picking Philly. Is
Do
what
you
I'm
believe that Boston is a live by the 3, die by the 3 type of team?
No.
No?
They have a lot of mid-range shooters.
Let me get some of the. I want to get their stats in comparison to the league.
Like Kemba Walker is like much more of a mid-range shooter than a three-point
That's the other
shooter.
thing we got to talk about. This is a guy who's. Did he make the All-Star team this year?
Kemba Walker?
No, right? Yeah.
I think he did.
Walker.
I want to say he did.
He
I might be wrong though. I feel like he did. I'm pretty sure. Like, yeah, he did because Giannis, like a dickhead, said, I'm gonna go with the crossover king, Kemba Walker, over James Harden.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Giannis is the worst. The worst GM ever.
Yeah, don't get me started. There's a reason why LeBron is LeBron. And he's the only one in the history of the league gets to do that kind of shit.
Yeah. Also, king.
Where was I going?
I'm like, are we still talking about James Harden then? So it's like, what?
No, but what I'm looking at Philadelphia. Oh no, I'm looking at Celtics team stats.
So does this year hurt Kyrie Irving in any way?
Please,
to you?
Please elaborate on that.
Boston's success without him while he was there, and then Boston's success without him after he left too.
But Boston was successful before he got there too.
Were they?
Yes. Isaiah Thomas was the king of the 4th.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yep. I'm trying to. I was like, what happened the season before? But yeah, I remember.
So Boston Celtics, middle of the pack in shooting threes.
Okay.
Let's see. Middle of the pack in shooting twos. Let's see percentages. Middle of the pack. Like this team is very like top 10 in scoring, but bottom of that list.
Yeah.
Fairly good. Like I find this team to be very average unless Tatum takes a leap.
Yeah, he definitely. Yeah. Well, Kemba too. Kemba has to do something this playoffs because what has he done?
Kemba Walker really? What has he done? That's exactly my point.
Yeah.
Like at least
he has to.
Lillard, I can say even though Damian Lillard hasn't fucking won anything, at least he sent some teams home.
Yeah. Well, and he usually comes up like you don't usually see him look small in the playoffs. Damien. I always feel like you know what you're gonna. That's usually how I consider like someone a superstar. If it's someone that like when you look at him, you're like, he's gonna get his 25 and 25, 6 and 6 or whatever the hell it is. Like he's gonna get his numbers. To me, that's how you consider someone a superstar. But
let's see. Kemba Walker's numbers in the bubble. 14, 3, pretty shitty numbers.
wow,
I mean,
what the fuck?
pretty.
Shooting
But this is my thing. Like,
49%.
I feel like Kemba Walker went to and I wanted to ask if he was an All-Star first before I said this because I wanted to be positive. But I felt like Kemba Walker went to Boston and fell off the face of the earth. But I guess I'm wrong.
But it's more of a team. You got other guys that are.
Hear me out. Brad Stevens is the point guard god. He spits out quality guards. Like, he gets better performances from his guards than most players. So I would have thought Kemba Walker would have left Charlotte, where he's never fucking had a serious coach, and gone to Brad Stevens, who's in like. If you can turn Isaiah Thomas into a 30-point per game scorer, like, I know that it's in Isaiah Thomas, but somebody's got to bring that out of him.
So Russ, quick question. So
I just would have thought more out of. I just would have thought I saw more out of Kemba Walker. But go ahead.
So you always, I feel like you always rave on team basketball, and this is like the epitome of team basketball, where you got 3 guys and averaging 20 a game, and you have an all around team that you're relying on everyone to play their part, and I feel like that's more of Brad Stevens' system. He usually wants everybody to contribute. So then, like, it's hard in a series to stop that when you have multiple guys that are going to put up numbers. So I look at it as it's not really Kemba's fault. I feel like it's just the system that he's in that's going to make him, and he's just not the best. He's not the best player in that team. So I wouldn't focus the whole team around them, because I think everyone thinks Jason Tatum is.
You probably have no idea why the fuck I have this team up here, but
I think I know exactly why you have the team.
This team hurt my soul. This is one of my favorite teams when I first started really, really, really getting into basketball when we were in college.
Yeah.
And I love this team because I love the thought process behind it. They had the best home record in the league because they would run people out of the gym using and abusing their Denver, Colorado altitude advantage. And I thought it was the most genius shit ever. Now, no one here is scoring 20 points a game, but you got 6 players in double figures. They were 3rd in the West when the West was fucking competitive as shit.
Mm-hmm.
And
they were the only team without that were that high without a superstar.
Much to your point, they played team basketball, and I loved them. And they were unceremoniously fucking bounced in the playoffs. And I learned a very valuable lesson.
But they have the only difference is Boston actually has like somewhat of a star. I felt like that team didn't.
Well, this is kind of my point. If Tatum can take the level up, then I would feel way more comfortable saying Boston. But
what I feel like Philly has so many issues this year. Like, everyone's talking about breaking up.
They play better when Simmons or Embiid is not playing. Like, they're just fucking weird. And I could see Embiid.
But they're so inconsistent too. Like, it's not.
I could just see Embiid going super ham, and no one on the Celtics can guard him. Like, that I know for sure. There's no one on his team that can really check him.
But the whole thing is he's such an inconsistent player. He's very inconsistent. So and that's why people look at him and they don't think that he's that great, because he's just like, sometimes you could get 40 and 10, and sometimes you get a 10-point game. Like, you don't know what you're getting out of him.
Let's look at his total playoff numbers from previous years.
Okay.
Because I feel like, so we got basically for his career in the playoffs, 20 and 11, 3 assists, 2 blocks, shooting 43%. That's pretty garbage.
Yeah.
29%. So, I mean, it's not great. It's
like
not
that. To me, that you can't rely on that. That's not just because he's 20 points means shit. You're giving me 43% from the field. Like that's like a Russell Westbrook. That's like a worse version of Russell Westbrook.
Yeah, but he's dominating the paint inside too.
I guess, but Russell would get you 10
impact.
rebounds with scoring 45 on 43% shooting as well. And it's just like, I don't know. I just look at it and I think he needs, and maybe without the Horford effect, he might be more efficient against Boston. He might dominate the game if they play it through him.
I just don't know anyone who could, like, we were talking about bodies they could throw at Giannis in the previous matchup. I don't know what bodies they have to throw. What, Brad Wanamaker? I don't even think he's a fucking center.
So, is Embiid going to play in the block, or is he going to be shooting threes?
If it's only Embiid and he doesn't play on the block, they deserve to go out in the first round, and Brett Brown needs to be fired on the spot. He needs to be fired before Game 4.
Yeah, and the whole thing is, Philly's not that great of a three-point shooting team either. So it's like to me, you pretty much play. It's because Boston is pretty much the Houston of the East, where they just went small and they're just running small ball and seeing where it gets them.
Yeah,
and I feel like this could be an issue with, like, especially because is Embiid going to be in shape too? Like, Embiid has been notorious of being out of shape, like even in the playoffs. So is he going to be able to run up and down with Boston for in a 7-game series? Like, I don't know. Like, he's so inconsistent that I can't trust that.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. I feel
like Bradley Stevens' system is not inconsistent. It's just you know what I mean. Like it's like usually it works for the most part. Like they had deep playoff runs. They had a 7-game series with Bron when Bron was easily like controlling the whole East, and they went 7 games with Bron.
Wait. You and I both know that team was white dog shit.
Which one?
The Cavs. That Cavs team.
Which wasn't that with Kyrie? No, they went 6. They went 6 with the year before and then without. But they still, I don't know, man, because you get
that was Tatum's rookie year. He dunked on LeBron.
Yeah,
that was the year that the Pacers almost sent LeBron home.
That's true. They went 7 games, but
to be fair, it's my favorite LeBron season because none of that happened. LeBron dominated and just turned up the scoring, and that's why it's one of my favorite LeBron seasons ever. Might be my favorite LeBron season ever, period. But all right, so let's go back to the brackets really quick.
Yeah.
So we got.
But for the most part, I don't you picking the Sixers. I'm not mad at. I don't look at it, and I don't think that's insane. But I do think that I clearly got the Celtics right now. But
Russell,
I can see the. Oh,
no, you good. I just have a question. So, I'm just confused. Some a center who is a bigger person than most people in the league, getting under 50% from 2, and just from the floor in general is them dominating the paint. I don't see how that adds up.
It's a really easy math problem for you, Lynn. Who is the offense centered around on the Philly?
Embiid.
I would say Embiid.
Oh, okay. So that would be the reason why it would make a difference. And I would hope that Joel Embiid would step up his game come playoff time. That's why I wanted to see his playoff numbers. And what we saw from his playoff numbers is that might not be the case. So we'll see. I don't know. But I don't think there's any bodies to throw at him, is my point, on Boston.
But you could swarm like I feel like people, especially right now in this current era of basketball, how they are using like positionless basketball. I feel like it doesn't matter if you're a big man. Like I feel like they could just swarm him, double team him. He has to kick out, and then you don't have much shooters.
Do you believe the big man is irrelevant in today's game?
I don't think it's not irrelevant. No, I think if you're a dominant big man, it's different. But I don't think Embiid is a dominant big man. Yeah.
If you're 7 feet tall, this is a great example. Kevin Durant's 7 feet tall, right?
Yep.
easily the best scorer. We kind of came up with the conclusion he's the best one-on-one player ever. Why?
Yeah,
Why for the most part?
because you can literally never block him.
Here's my point. When these guys finally figure it out, and we're starting to see it evolve now, like when these big, tall guys finally start gaining some more skill, it's going to be a problem. And you see it in guys like Ben Simmons, who is 6'10", playing point guard. Yeah, he can't shoot, but they're evolving. You get what I'm saying?
But
the league is getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
To go back to your famous quote, you can't put the exception as the rule. Like, there's never been a Kevin Durant, and you don't see anybody that's like him.
I named other players. Like Ben Simmons is a taller guy who's learning.
He can't shoot for shit.
No,
and it's like,
but everybody's got their fucking things that they can't do. You're missing the point. My point is the taller people who are physically taller, 6'8" and above, are gaining the skills that they did not have in the 90s, early 2000s, and on. Like, they're getting better. Look at a guy like Karl-Anthony Towns. He can't play defense, but look at his offensive skill set. It's completely different.
But how can you say that? There has been players that has, like, we saw a better version of Ben Simmons called Magic Johnson back in the 80s. Okay, we could say Magic is an anomaly. And then you got a Scottie Pippen, Pippen a couple of years later, who does very similar things. Like, you have players, you had
he was 6'8", not 6'10".
Doesn't matter. It's the same thing. You got 2 inches. You're telling me, come on. Magic is 6'9".
Could guard a center. Scottie Pippen could not. It would be harder for Scottie Pippen.
Ben Simmons cannot guard a center.
Sure, he could.
Oh my God, he literally gets eaten alive every single time. If you want to say that, sure. If you say, oh yeah, you could put him in front of one and then he gets dog fed.
You must have a specific center at the top of your head.
I'm talking about any good center. Like, you put.
I'm talking. Name me a time so I can put it on the camera for the audience. Otherwise, I don't know what you're talking.
Ben Simmons is not a great defender.
He is he can guard 1 through 5. What are you talking about?
Oh no,
he's a great defender. He can switch on anybody. That's Sixers were one of the best defensive teams in the league when they're all healthy. They're always one of the best. This year, they relied on their defense because they could switch 1 through 5.
All right, so just to keep going back to you, the whole thing is, this is not unusual. I feel like now, because there's more talent and stuff, you're gonna see more of them. But there's definitely been players who are this tall and have these kinds of skill sets throughout NBA history.
Please name them.
Grant Hill.
Magic Johnson.
Grant Hill.
Grant Hill was a small forward. He wasn't like a center. He wasn't like a.
Yeah, but he was still a tall guy who could pass, who could score like that. Like, it's the same. It's the same concept.
Giannis is 7 feet tall.
Yeah, you got one guy. All right, you got Giannis and KD. Those are two freaking.
He's tall and
he's not that good. We're talking about like great players right now.
No, I'm talking about tall players that have skills with the basketball.
Yeah, but you could. Okay, so
besides a post-up game, because that's what all they had before that time. And the reason why the big man got phased out during our childhood and like our period of like watching basketball when we were younger is because you could not get away with posting up like this anymore. So what happened? The big man had to evolve. He had to gain new skills. And that's why you're starting to see more and more of these larger athletes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's why we'll also never really see a guy like Kareem or a guy like Tim Duncan or a guy like Shaq, because he couldn't just, like, a guy like Shaq couldn't just dunk it now. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I agree. There's no more one skill athletes in the league anymore. Even if they're the best in the fucking league at it. There's really you got to have at least like 3 different types of things you can do on the floor.
Yeah. No, and I agree with that.
That's
for sure.
more my point. It's not necessarily great players. If you want to talk about like,
but I just don't see how that
great players from the past and bringing them fucking forward.
But I don't see how that applies in this case. So Embiid, I feel like him shooting.
No, you asked me. It was more you asked me the question on something with size, like why the size and skill, and that's why.
I was, and that's fine. I don't know. I think Embiid is very overrated actually. Like this last year and last year's playoffs kind of started making me have a turn because actually I had Embiid in my in my fantasy basketball, and I loved him for the longest,
Yeah.
and because obviously he put up the stats and shit, but actually seeing him in the playoffs and then seeing him throughout this year, he's just such a baby. Like I feel like he's a pussy. He's such a pussy. Like when it comes to like he can't play through injuries. He can't like he's not usually healthy. And
I don't know if that makes him pussy as much as it is his body just sucks.
no, I think it's him not doing what he has to do for his body.
Maybe. I
He's
don't know.
not everyone has like for
That-
a while now they've been saying that he's not doing what he has to do for his body
He
to
should
make him
definitely be. He should definitely put on less weight,
yeah.
especially if he's
But
not going to post up with it.
yeah. You can work like people there's not it's not weird that LeBron James has been this way for 17 years but then you hear I put 1.5 million dollars into making my body the best that it could possibly be. Like
Sure.
that goes hand in hand. It's not just oh LeBron's a freak of nature. Yeah, he is, but he also is putting in the work. Like Kobe lasted 17 years because he put in that work and he was playing through a lot of injury. So I just look at players like that work hard and did what they had to do to make sure that they could last as long as possible. And you see this guy having stomach bugs throughout a series, like fucking not being healthy, getting multiple injuries throughout the year. Like it's just shit that's holding him back that he can control.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know if he can control all of them. I just don't know. But that's because it's not me.
But the whole thing is that's a constant thing around the league that they're saying that he's not putting that effort in.
Yeah.
Like that's been a thing throughout this whole year.
But going back to what I was saying about the bubble, and again, I could be fucking wrong, but and this was kind of my point with I didn't want players skipping games because there is no reason for you to not be playing basketball.
Facts. Facts.
There is no reason. There's absolutely no reason for resting. There's no reason for doing any of that. You are literally stuck in a basketball prison.
Yeah.
Your job is to go to your hotel room. The internet can't be great. There's no way. No hotel room has good internet.
I'm pretty sure they have great internet.
No, fuck
no.
They got shitty internet.
It's the NBA, bro. They're definitely paying for the best quality internet.
You think the 20-year-old, the rookies were calling and just be like, hey,
yeah, like, bro,
we need our Wi-Fi 5. We got to set up our Twitch stream.
Yeah, what the fuck? Yeah, that's fact.
But there's no reason for that. There should be no real distractions. You should be balling the fuck out, going to the practice gym whenever you can. Like, I just don't. Yeah. There's no.
Well, I could see.
So,
yeah. No, I agree with you.
But like I said, I would like Philly to lose in the first round. I'm looking at it from like.
Don't worry, you'll get your wish, Russell, because I promise you they're losing in 6.
I hope you're right. I really hope you're right.
Yeah.
All right, let's try to get to this conference finals here. So let's say we got Boston and the Raptors. Because you guys, we got to talk Raptors Nets. Everybody's got the Raptors?
Well, we could talk
you are
both series.
Expecting the Nets. We got to talk about the Nets.
Me?
Yeah, you got the Nets only winning one game.
No, it's not disrespecting the Nets. It's me giving a lot of respect to the Raptors.
Yeah, it's that because I don't think the Raptors.
So, and I'll explain why because I feel like
the Nets have close games with literally every single team in the league. That's good.
Yeah, but
they win a lot of them.
But they've never played. Have they played in a playoff series? Do they know like how to? Do they know how to plan? How to adjust when someone plans for you for a 7-game series, and they're saying, "We know you do this. This is how we're gonna stop you," and then you have to do something different to adjust and change the series up. Like I don't think they do. They're a young team.
Who's dominating for the Raptors?
Siakam.
You think?
Yeah.
I don't know.
And Kyle Lowry. Like,
I don't think
Kyle Lowry, I promise you this playoffs is going to make you look different. Look at him differently.
Do you just think that the Nets just don't have anybody who's good on their team? Like, I'm just trying
my thing with the Raptors, so it's the youth issue. And then, but this is a good issue for the Nets because I think next year is gonna make the Nets so much better
See,
because
I think they already
I
went
see
through
big.
this the year before.
Huh?
I think they were the Clippers of the East last year. The team with no star that like was making it competitive with everybody.
Remember that I said this. This Nets team that's currently here
Yeah.
is not going to be the same Nets team next year because at least two players are going to get traded for a bigger piece.
You think they're gonna need another big piece?
Yeah, I could see them either giving up Dinwiddie or something,
He
or
helped make the team.
huh?
He helped create the team.
Yeah, it's either Dinwiddie or Levert is probably gonna.
I can't see them trading either one because
You want to?
they're in with the two boys.
All right, so let's think about this. So we got Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. That's a clear 1 and 2.
I know. I understand what you're saying. What I'm saying is Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving's best friends on the team are the two guys you just said that should be traded.
Yeah, but I just don't see. Are they like? I can see Kevin Durant looking at this and saying, "Well, I can't see any of these guys wanting to be the third option."
I could also see Kevin Durant going, fuck it. I got a couple of rings. I really want to play with my friends now.
I think he cares about his legacy more.
Then he shouldn't have went to the fucking Nets to sign.
No, I think him going to the Nets and winning this next chip, would make everybody look at him totally different.
He will not win with Kyrie Irving as his co-star.
Oh no, but obviously, but I'm like I don't see them as.
And that's because LeBron's better than Kevin Durant. But that's a totally different.
That's a fact. That is a fact.
That's a totally different conversation. But if I just find it.
The Raptors have.
I really like this Nets. The players on this Nets team play hard as fuck.
Yeah.
They like, even if they're down 20, they always fight.
But these are regular season games, though.
But wait, hold on. My last thing. They have a really good win-loss record against the Raptors. That was my third thing that I was gonna say.
And I've seen literally. I saw Magic in 2009 beat the Lakers by like 20 both games, and they got completely demolished in the finals against the Lakers. That means nothing in a 7-game series. It's easy to play game to game and do well, versus having to go against a team that's structured to beat you.
They were in the same division. They're playing 4 times. It's not like they're playing once.
Yeah, but it means nothing. They're not like you're playing sporadically throughout the year. You're not saying, all right, this is the team that I'm facing. This is how I have to.
They wouldn't play at all.
Huh?
It means something. Otherwise, they wouldn't play at all.
Literally, LeBron.
I feel like you would have the NBA players play a 15-game regular season, like football, because of how little it matters.
No, you can't. You need to have some rhythm, but
they matter. I understand what you're saying, but they matter to an extent, especially in division, because you need those games.
Okay.
So history tells me that they don't matter.
Okay.
And the last 10 years could tell me that they don't matter.
Okay.
If we're looking at the LeBron James showed us for the last 3 to 4 years that in the Cavs that it didn't mean shit.
LeBron James played for the Raptors?
No, but this Raptors team is just won a championship, and they're literally playing the best basketball that they've played, and they're looking at it as we lost Kawhi, but we still have all these players, and we're still good. And I think that's going to be.
I have the Raptors winning, but it's not going to be easy. It's just not going to be easy. I really don't think the Raptors team is that good. Like, I really don't. I'm not sold on it.
I just think that maybe saying the regular season game wins doesn't matter is the difference. I think it's more so the fact that the Nets can have fun, close games with people in the regular season because they're only preparing for 1 game versus 7. But if you have the Nets trying to prepare to beat the Raptors for 7 games, I just only see them winning 1 of those 7 games.
Damn, I don't agree. But maybe here's my thing though. Here's my thing, and I have a slight problem with this Nets team, is that I really liked them under Kenny Atkinson. I thought he was fucking great for them as a coach. I have no idea why they got rid of him. It didn't make any sense to me, and I'm pretty sure it's because Kyrie and Kevin Durant didn't like him, which is fucking insanely stupid. Because he's the reason why that team was trying hard and super competitive and whatever. But that attitude is still lingering into this postseason. But I worry that because we brought up next season for them, I worry that if they don't pick the right coach, they're going to be in a world of shit for next season because they're going to have a cast of characters that are going to need to be like Phil Jackson style corral.
Because all of them, you look at it, Dinwiddie and LeVert are like becoming little mini stars that people are looking at and saying, wow, these guys are really good. And you get your social media, especially now, you get your social media up and they're saying, yeah, the man. And then you go and say, well, why the fuck am I letting Kevin Durant shoot 25 shots a game and I'm not getting my 16?
Disease of more.
Why is Kyrie Irving always injured and he's getting his 20 shots a game and I'm over here always ready to play and I'm getting my 16? Like, why is like no one's gonna want to do that?
That's kind of what happened in Boston with Kyrie to an extent.
Like I feel like they're gonna have either you're giving up Kyrie or you're giving up one of those guys. You have to. It's not gonna make sense for that team.
They're not. But here's the thing. Honestly, bro, of all the people I could see them giving up, I could see them giving up DeAndre Jordan. That would be it. And for the same reason, for the same fucking reason, I said the other two guys couldn't be traded. DeAndre Jordan is the reason why they're not Knicks. They would have been Knicks if DeAndre Jordan was like, I had a great experience with Dolan. This was fine. It's all bullshit what they write in the tabloids. No. Fucking DeAndre told them, we need to get the fuck to Brooklyn now. Yeah. Get me out of this fucking shit. This is horrible.
So do you have how many teams have we seen that do the same, that have multiple players that do the exact same thing and they do well together? I feel like like Dinwiddie.
LeBron related teams usually, but and teams that run the triangle have a lot of players that do similar things, especially low post stuff. But we're going 20 years back now.
Yeah, so I'm looking at it as Dinwiddie, LeVert, and KD. Kinda like obviously KD is way better, but
LeVert. I think they need to keep LeVert. That kid is.
I agree. That's why I said Dinwiddie first because I'm like, LeVert's young. Yeah. What if he's the next superstar, another superstar, and then he takes Kyrie?
Dinwiddie's on Rock Nation.
Yeah.
This is what I'm explaining to you. Like, I would be so surprised. I mean, if they did, I would agree. I think these are good moves, but I just don't.
Well, one thing for you though. Don't be too surprised when you only see the series go 5 games. All right, we're good. And don't look back at me and be like, Dario's an asshole for bringing this back up later, because I'm going to bring it up.
All right. So we'll do Celtics Raptors down here. And
we could talk about how both it would do.
No, because I think the Raptors would win.
Oh, okay. So
I just think it would be tough.
Yeah.
But against Philly, for me, I had the Raptors winning that pretty easily, because I think once you get to the second round, then the lack of like stars and depth hurts you more than it does in the first. But moving on.
Yeah.
If you do Celtics Raptors, Lindsay has the Celtics down here. I want to hear this.
I mean, look at I put it 6 or 7 games, so I don't think she's insane for that.
Yeah.
But I want to hear the logic.
Okay, so I think they're both good teams, and I think either team could win. I just personally like the Celtics better, and I like Brad Stevens as coach better, so I gave them the edge.
Yeah, I can see it. Whenever you're looking at a really tight game, well, Raptors coach and just organization, I think, is really good as well. So I don't think it's like, that's why when I mentioned like Brad Stevens being the best coach in the East, I started thinking, well, it's close. It's not super crazy.
It's not that the either coach is better than the other. It's just in terms of preference for at that point between the Celtics and the Raptors, it was just my preference.
Yeah. And I would be rooting for the Celtics more than the Raptors because I kind of like that team better. But I just think
I got the same problem that I have with Embiid with the Celtics here. They really just don't have anybody to guard big men, and it bothers me.
Well, do the Raptors have many big men that they're gonna have to?
They got Siakam, who can score.
I mean, I consider him more of like a small forward, but I guess he's a power
I could
forward
see
in reality.
Siakam getting 24 and 10 in this series.
Yeah, me too.
And
And I think Kyle Lowry's getting like 22 and 8, maybe 22-7. Like I could definitely see him
I'm
putting
never
up.
putting Kyle Lowry in for more than 15 points a game and 3 charges per game.
Yeah.
3 charges drunk.
I think Kyle this postseason he's gonna look a little different. I think he has the confidence that he
another
had.
level, and that's very different.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
That's my thing. I feel like he has that confidence now.
Yeah, that was my other thing. I'm iffy on Kyle Lowry in the playoffs because the only time he did well was last year, really.
When he had Super Kawhi Leonard on his team.
Exactly. So like I don't know.
Yeah, and I could see anyone being skeptical about the Raptors, especially because everyone are just waiting for them to fail. You know, because you're like, you don't have Kawhi anymore. It's not really like the Bucks are clearly the best team in the East. Like you're just waiting for them to fail. I feel like most people are.
I would say the same thing I said about the Celtics in the round 1. If Tatum is up another level, he could roast the Raptors.
I agree.
And if that happens, I got Celtics in 6.
If Tatum does the, which is completely different, but just to like put a visualization on what you're saying. If he goes from 2000 Kobe to 2001 Kobe, where he just became the best guard in the league. Like if he does that, then like of course I'm. But I don't see that. I don't know. I don't see that really.
I'm a winning Celtics series in Tatum. Give me Tatum's line.
I think if you give him 25, 6 and 6.
Damn, I'd say 37 and 7.
Oh, you wildin'. What?
But
that's like godly.
That's what I want. That's what I want. It's playoff time, motherfucker.
Wait, who else you seen do that though?
This is what I want from Tatum. I need Tatum to take the next level. Otherwise, the Celtics aren't getting out of the first round.
You're thinking in the series, or you're thinking in the whole playoffs?
I'm thinking the whole playoffs.
You're asking for something that no one's ever done.
That's not true at all.
Who's done it?
37 and 7. I'm not okay. Wait, time out. I'm saying 37 and 7 for that series, like against the Raptors. He has to roast. Like I want multiple 30-point games, and like he's gonna have to roast from. And if that happens, I'll take Celtics in 6.
Yeah, I'm talking about for the whole.
Like, that's a different.
I'm saying 25, 6 and 6 for this playoffs.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah.
You
think that would get them to the conference finals if he had that?
Yeah. Well, obviously you might not. First round is usually the iffy round, and then the second round is usually amp it up a little bit. Like
I think he would.
I could see him doing what you're saying, like the 30, like getting a bunch of 30-point games, bunch of assists, rebounds.
The Raptors. Otherwise, I'll put the Raptors in the conference finals. No problem.
Yeah, I currently have. Yeah, I mean, I see this series going 6 or 7 for sure.
Yeah,
I think that's gonna be a fun one to watch.
So when we move to the next series, I'm going to talk to Lindsay first because she has the Celtics and the Bucks. How many games?
How many games do I have the Celtics and the Bucks going?
Yeah.
Probably 6.
6?
Yeah.
Why?
I think just it comes down to coaching. I feel like the Celtics will have a good enough plan for Giannis, and they have a deep enough team that they should be able to at least get 2 wins out of that series.
I'd agree.
I think Giannis, absolutely. I think they just. All right, look. If I don't,
you're loving Giannis way too much.
This happens before the playoffs every year. He's like, Giannis is gonna do everything. He's Giannis.
This is my problem, man, and this does happen to me every postseason, and I'm a victim of this, and I'll say it right now. When I do these brackets and when I look at the postseason, the first thing I think of is who's the most unguardable guy in the tournament. And for me, it's Giannis in terms of like I said about the Kawhi thing and why Kawhi stopping him was very surprising to me. There's not many guys who are Giannis's dimensions who have the level of athleticism to keep with him. And I don't know, because even if you can stay in front of him, then he just euros and fucking stretches and you got to dunk. Like, it's not. It's very fucking hard. You need a certain type of like athletic big guy to stay in front of him. Otherwise, you're fucked. And the Celtics don't have that guy, because the guy who was there for them was Al Horford. He would fuck Giannis up, same way that he fucked Embiid up.
Yeah.
And without Al Horford, it's so hard for me to believe the Celtics win these series against these like, okay, maybe Embiid's not dominant, but Giannis definitely dominant.
Yeah.
Larger players who they have to defend the interior. I just don't see it.
Yeah.
I just don't see it.
Yeah.
And I could see Giannis getting 32 and 13 in this series. Like, who's going to
I just think history. I just think you have to give them at least 2 games because they've played so well against the Bucks
without Horford.
Sure, but I think you can't just put it on one guy. I think there's a strategy behind it. It's not just the one guy. Al Horford is not that. He's great. Yeah, well, he's a good player. He's not that dominant where he just completely changes a whole series.
Oh man. See,
he's a piece that is like core.
I would say in general, no. I would say you're right. But for them, because when you look, like, when we go to their roster, this is my exact problem. When we go to this Celtics roster, outside of Taco Fall, who's not exactly a fucking stud here, they got nobody really. I don't know who the fuck that guy is. He's a rookie.
Can they not build a wall around?
Enes Kanter is a bum on defense.
Yeah.
And then Tatum is their tallest guy. You got Daniel Tice, Robert Williams. Both these guys are B- level players. They're not stopping Giannis. Gordon Hayward, no chance.
But you could do it as a team, though. Like, I'm not. Don't get me wrong. And Lindsay also saying the same thing. She's saying it in 6. But
you need at least one guy to piss him off.
So you think he's just gonna sweep him? Like, I can't.
I got Bucks in 5. Oh, and that's more respect to Brad Stevens than anybody on the team. However, wait, are we talking Kobe 01 Jason Tatum?
Oh, if that's there, that's a 7-game series.
No, then I have Celtics in 6. I'll give them 2 games. Because Giannis, they'll put Giannis on Kobe Tatum. They'll put Giannis on Tatum, and then that's it. It's over. Like, it's just there's too much.
What, you think Giannis would lock Tatum up?
Yeah, definitely.
If he's 0-1 Kobe?
Yeah, definitely.
You think? Wait, time out. This is gonna be off topic, but you think Giannis can lock up 0-1 Kobe?
No, that's a different conversation.
Okay. I was just curious.
That's a hard left for me. I'm not ready to do that.
I was about to say.
I'm not ready to do that.
I was about to say,
Give me a couple more years. Give me a couple more years of Giannis doing what he's doing, and then I'll be ready to have that conversation. But I'm not there yet.
Yeah,
but
I know. I was gonna say that was gonna be a whole.
With Tatum,
I've been calm this whole time.
Giannis is giving him a bear hug like this.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see. But the whole thing is, Tatum had. I think if you could, let's say if Tatum does go to 0-1 Kobe status or whatever the hell, and he can make Giannis work for that long, I think it'll make it a longer series too. Like, like, even if Giannis is guarding him, I think it'll make it harder for him because now you got a guy that's been averaging 30 minutes a game for the whole year, and then you got a guy that's going to be coming at you every single possession. I think it makes it. I think it'll make it. I think that's going to be an issue throughout this playoffs. I hope that they throw a lot of minutes at Giannis. Like,
yeah. So this is going back to our point from the last show we did.
Yeah.
If you're gonna now listen, man. If you're gonna tell me Giannis is playing 30 minutes a game, then I think I'm inclined to lean Celtics. Because I'm assuming Giannis is going to take a minutes increase and go up to 40 minutes a game.
Yeah.
He doesn't do that, all bets are off. And then that fucks my whole bracket up.
Yeah, and that coach deserves to be fired. I don't give a shit. What the fuck? I don't care if you won 60-something games. If you do that, it means nothing. And this is what I'm saying. it literally means nothing if you won 60 something games in the regular season and you keep losing in the playoffs. To me, that mean you that's why I say regular season doesn't matter to me.
It just depends on how you lose in the playoffs. For me, that's a context thing.
It sure, I guess, but like, Rockets lost multiple times in the playoffs.
Yeah, but Harden choked too.
Yeah, but they had big series, like a lot of like tight series. Again, they had a 7-game series against the Warriors. They had a bunch of 6-game series against the Warriors. Like it was not like they just died.
Oh man, and I just saw Giannis hit a 3. If Giannis is doing that, I got Bucks in 4.
No, Giannis, I don't see it. I think they're giving him that all the time.
Pressed out the brooms.
Yeah, I'd definitely just be giving him that all the time. Like,
so,
please shoot.
What is the legacy of the 90s Utah Jazz then? Because they were great regular season, but they never succeeded in the playoffs the way that they should have.
Exactly, that's why no one talks about them.
I guess, but that's a little bit different. But no one talks about them because they're Michael Jordan's bitch. That's a very different.
But that's usually what those teams become. They become just the story of another person, is what I'm saying. Like you look at Sacramento Kings 2000 1 Sacramento Kings.
That's not the story, and you know it.
No, I know, but I'm saying that no one talks about them because they're the story of the Lakers. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying I agree. I think the Kings probably should have won that series, definitely should have won the series, but that's not what you know what I mean? Like, example. I'm talking but what I'm saying is it's actually not though, because when you look back at it, who talks about those Kings? No one. You want to know why? Because
I don't know if that's totally true. People talk about those Kings and how they were viciously screwed by the referee.
Now though, I could see that like 10 years ago, sure, but now
that's a victim of fucking us history. Being older. Like, that's not.
No, I think history looks.
That's the point that I feel like we're trying to make, is that after a while, history will forget the people that were great in the regular season but didn't do shit in the playoffs.
Yeah, exactly. That's a fact. It's been a fact for years. Like,
I guess, but that Owens Kings team got robbed. I don't want to hear that shit.
That's fine. We could talk about we could talk about a lot of other teams. Like, I don't know. Like, a lot of those great teams that have like a great like the 73-9 Warriors. The only reason they'll be talked about in history is because they went 73-9 and then got KD and then won through.
Can I ask you another question? How many teams get talked about throughout history? We talk about players in the NBA. We talk about way more about players than we do about teams. You know what I mean?
Sure, I guess, but like you always talk about you talk about those Laker teams in the 80s. Like, yeah, we talking about Magic, but a lot of the times people are talking about the Lakers, the Celtics, the Bulls,
like 86 Celtics, 87 Lakers, 96 Bulls, certain teams, but like the list is not very long. The list is way longer.
Usually you pick out 2 or 3 for each decade, I want to say. And that's how it's always been, because there's usually 2 or 3 dominating the decade.
Yeah, that's true, I guess. But let's go back to the brackets real quick.
Yeah.
I would take the Bucks. If the Bucks need to make the NBA Finals this year, they need to make this. They need to do it.
Yeah, if they want to keep Giannis.
Yeah.
If they somehow lose in the second round against the Heat or like that'll definitely.
Well, if Giannis has a LeBron style meltdown type series, then it might be a different story. But if they want to stop Giannis from looking elsewhere, come free agency, not this year, but when is he a free agent? 2 years.
And this might be like a weird stance, but I don't ever see Giannis doing something like that, because I don't. He always, even against the.
It's already been rumored.
No, I'm not talking about trading. I'm talking about like having a LeBron meltdown kind of game.
Oh, okay.
Because
I was like, it's already been rumored. He might leave.
Yeah, with the Raptors last year when they lost, like he was trying. It was not like, he was definitely attacking, and he just got overpowered pretty much.
Yeah.
But you never seen him. you never see that lack of effort from him or that quit. Like he doesn't have quit in him. I feel like he always just wants to attack, and try to do whatever he can to win. Like I've seen that from him from all his career, throughout his career. Huh?
Prideful guy.
Yeah. So I just never, I would never look at him and think that he'd do something like that. And if he does, I'd be extremely surprised.
So
and depressed.
Giannis is,
not really. I don't give a shit about him.
Giannis is gonna be a free agent in 2021.
Okay, so that's 2 years.
That's after next season, right?
But that's usually what they do. They start building the stories beforehand. And if he wins, I promise you, the story is not even going to be mentioned. But if he loses, there's going to be all. That's what they do. They always love you until they hate you.
Sound logic. I love it.
Yeah.
Fire. Fucking but all right. So we got the Bucks out of the East. Pretty much.